Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm Zoological Park. My name is Ron. I'm one of the reptile keepers here, and welcome to our alligator lagoon feeding demonstration. But before we get started, I do want to go over a few quick safety rules. If you have anything that's not directly attached to your body, so cell phones, cameras, cups, children, anything like that, please do not lean those over this fencing. Do not rest anything on these posts or on that inside lip. I do ask if you have anything up there now to please pull that back. We don't want anything falling in here. Even something as small as a pair of sunglasses could harm our animals if they were to ingest it. But we do understand accidents happen. So if you do drop anything in this habitat or any of our other habitats today, please just let the nearest staff member know, and if we can safely retrieve that item, we'll be happy to do so. Now that being said, who's ready to see some alligators eat? Woo! Alrighty. Now, as I said, this is just a feeding demonstration. There are 34 American alligators in our lagoon, so it might take me some time to try to feed every single one of them. So this is more like a snack for them. And you'll notice not even all the alligators will even come over for the feeding demonstration. They know this is one of many opportunities they have to eat. But I do have two items on the menu. First off being this small pellet. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but this is a diet designed specifically for alligators and crocodiles. It's made by a company called Missouri, who specializes in exotic animal diets for zoos all over the country, but it's really made for our animals. It floats in the water, so it's really easy for them to grab, and it has everything they need in it. We had crocodilian biologists, vets, and our own staff here got together, figured out what these animals need to live long, healthy lives, and we put it in this pellet. But most importantly, they really do enjoy it. Isn't that right? Yes, I thought. There you go, guys. Now, I'm sure coming to an alligator feeding, you're expecting a little bit more than me just tossing out some pellets. So I did bring some rats. And even though they do get a lot of the nutrition they need out of those pellets, it's nice to give them something like this, because the fur, the bones, the blood, all of that has a lot of great nutrients that we want to make sure our animals are getting. So let's see who's ready down here for a nice rat snack. Hey, Crazy! Good job! Now, if you're wondering about the history of our zoo, we've been around for over 125 years, founded in 1893. However, this was not our original location. We were actually across the street where Anastasia State Park is today. But in the 1920s, due to some floods and other natural disasters, we moved to where we are now. And then in 1937, we were purchased by the Drysdale family, and they helped grow the zoo into what it is. We went from just having American alligators to 24 different species of crocodilians, other reptiles, and the beautiful birds and mammals that you see. But during this time, we've been focused on the highest standards of animal care, education, and the bigger picture of wildlife conservation. And you can help too. Small changes make a big difference. So please feel free to talk to us or check out our website to find out how. Alligators are what we call generalist carnivores, which means they're going to eat anything that's made of meat. So insects, reptiles, birds, and mammals are all on the menu for an alligator. But they might not just eat smaller things like this rat that I have here. Palmer's pretty ready for it, though. Come on, Palmer. Good job. They might up their game and do something like a large deer. But they're a little bit different when they're eating larger things. They actually cannot chew. It might look like they're chewing when they're eating their food, but when they're doing that chewing motion, they're really just repositioning the food into a better spot to help them swallow. They don't have the same muscles in their throat like we do, so they have to let gravity do all the work. And their mouths aren't really built for it either. They only open and close. They don't do that grinding motion that we need to do in order to chew their food. And believe it or not, their teeth aren't really good for it either. Their 70 to 80 conical-shaped teeth are used for puncturing and holding on to prey, not shredding and tearing like you might see in Komodo dragons or sharks. So they use a very different method of getting those large animals into more bite-sized pieces, and it's what media has dubbed the death roll. Now, I'm sure you've seen this plenty of times on TV or online. It's when an alligator or a crocodile grabs onto their food, does that nice 360 rotation. And even though it is called the death roll, surprisingly, that's not what they're really using it for. They're using it as a very gruesome knife and fork, so they can rip a small piece off that will allow them to swallow it. Now, alligators do have the ability to jump, which you've been seeing a lot of the alligators do for me today. Let's see, it looks like Palmer might be ready for another one. But they can actually get 2/3 of their body out of the water in a single jump. Come on, Palmer. Oh, you were so close. No, you're done? Well, let's see if we can't get someone else in. Hey, Chip. Chip. Chip.
Come on, Chip. Just
No?
drop it on my face.
But when they are jumping, They can't get about 2/3 of their body out of the water. It's all due to that big, powerful tail you see on the back of them. It's made of laterally compressed muscle, so there's a lot of power in there allowing them to blast out of the water. But it's also their main appendage used for swimming, so that's what's allowing them to swim to some pretty good speeds as well. All right, let's see. Chip might be ready now. Chip. Come on, Chip. There we go. We got someone's attention. Come on, Chip. Good job. All right, you know, I do have one last rat, and with that one last fact about these amazing animals, and it's about how much they're eating. Now, as I've noted, we've got some pretty large alligators in here. Some of ours are getting over 13 feet and over 600 pounds. You'd probably be expecting them to eat quite a lot of food, but surprising enough, large alligators like this only need about 80 to 90 pounds of food a year. That's due to the fact that they're ectotherms, or cold-blooded animals. They rely on the outside environment to keep their bodies nice and warm, so they don't have to use energy from their food like we do. So they don't have to eat nearly as much. So to kind of give you some perspective on that, that's almost like them eating a sandwich a week. Alrighty, let's see here. Well, you three I have already fed, so why don't we toss this out on land to our friend Bluto. So he looks like he's pretty ready for a rat. You better move quicker before that vulture gets it. Maybe saving it for later. Alright, but as I said, that was my last rat. If you do have any further questions for me, I'm going to be hanging up here on the feeding platform for a little bit longer. I'd be happy to answer any of those questions. Otherwise, if you want to see another alligator feeding, we're going to be doing that again right back here at 3 o'clock, so I hope to see you there. But have a great day, and thanks again for coming out to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. Thank you, everyone.